You can do a lot with PocketLab's barometric pressure sensor, from weather investigations to gas law experiments to measuring the altitude change of a projectile. There's just a lot you can do with it. So let's get started. First, turn your PocketLab on so it can connect with the PocketLab app. Then go ahead and change from the acceleration graph in the change graph settings to barometric pressure. Now the PocketLab is just measuring the barometric pressure in the room. So I can blow on it, you see, and then you get this little spike as I increase the pressure on the sensor. But that's kind of boring, so what else can I do? Well, take a Ziploc bag, fill it up with air by blowing into it, and then get your PocketLab inside the Ziploc bag. And then you may need to refill it with some more air and get it sealed. And now the PocketLab is measuring the air pressure inside the bag. And as I squeeze the bag, I'm decreasing the volume of the bag. And you can see that that changes the pressure inside the bag that the PocketLab is reading. So this is a really fun experiment, because as I'm changing the volume of the bag, I can feel the pressure in my hands. I can feel those air molecules push back on the surface of the bag, and then we can also see that in the barometric pressure reading in the PocketLab. So it's a cool, quick activity that you can do. The pressure sensor also gives us an absolute altitude reading calibrated to being outside in normal weather conditions. You can zero out that altitude to better measure relative changes in altitude. So you see, even as I move the PocketLab up and down just a few inches, the tiny changes in barometric pressure and air pressure in the room, we can equate that to changes in altitude. The pressure sensor is also great for measuring the altitude changes of a projectile when you throw it in the air. So as I threw the PocketLab in the air, you can see that change in altitude. If you have the space to really get it up in the air, you'll get a nice parabola. This also works really well in two-graph mode when you're measuring acceleration scalar that can measure the launch, free fall, and catch of the projectile in this case. So here we can see where I threw the PocketLab in the air and then where it was in free fall, and that equates to the change in altitude that we see in the altitude graph. Okay, so those are the basics of using the barometric pressure sensor with PocketLab.